Credits. Pleasure to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Connors. I voiced Nozomi Kanehashi in Keijo. I voiced Mai Kawakami in Yuri Colors Phantom World, Tripoli in World End, Akane in Love Tyrant, and Bakura in One Piece Stone Gold. Yay! Yay! Yeah! And then games and stuff. If anybody plays Battle Right, I voiced Jade, and then Belly and Honey Pop, and all kinds of other stuff.
Alright, stuff. Hi guys, my name's Versalenti. Credits. I voiced Libra in Fairy Tail, Mistress Sadie in One Piece, Ilse Lagnar in Attack on Titan Junior High, Chiaki Hoshinomori in Gamers. Oh, do you like that show? And Momoko, the warden in Nanbaka. And I also do video games. I was in Yandere Simulator as Genka and Midorana. So thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Kristen McGuire. I'm a voice actor, scriptwriter, and director because I don't like having free time. As far as voice acting, I'm Hanabi Kawai in Keijo, young Nora in Ruby. I always black out at this part. I don't remember what I've done.
Too much drinking.
In real life.
That's a good show.
Yeah, that's a good show. Ring Toyama and New Game. And I just finished directing Gamers last season, which is a really cool show that's not actually about gaming.
Anime, right? Alright, so I'm curious. What was your inspiration as far as getting into this industry? What made you want to get into this industry?
I've always loved stage and theater. When I was in my first college production, my instructor told me, "Hey, you have a great voice. Have you done voice acting?" I said, "I don't know what that is." But inspiration-wise, it was my Grammy. She always wanted to be an actress, and she never got the chance. But she's my inspiration. Oh, and Mary Poppins.
For me, I've always loved cartoons and video games since I was very, very small. And I wanted to be Laura Croft, and then I realized that wasn't like a job profession. You couldn't just go be Laura Croft. Right?
You can't?
You can't.
What
it's shocking.
My dreams!
Crushed. So I was like, oh hey, well, what if I just like voice things and I can like live out these lives and adventures and stuff. Also, my mom also wanted to be an actress and never got the chance or to pursue that. So it's kind of similar to Natalie in that regard.
You guys have all these family connections. I come from a family of lawyers. So absolutely not any sort of creative blood running through my family. But when I was a kid, I actually wanted to do acting. I did a lot of stage and I did a lot of film, and then I turned 13, I got self-conscious. So I actually became a seamstress. I was a seamstress for about a decade. I went to college for it. And while I was in college, I said, wow, I don't want to do this anymore. It's fun to do for yourself, but it was not fun to do for a job. So I kind of looked back at all the things that I had done before seamstressing, and I said, well, what one of these things would be good to be my actual job? And I was like, I liked acting. Let's do that again. Took voice acting classes, moved out here, and started doing it within a year of graduating college and totally abandoning everything I'd been building for a decade. So that was my inspiration. Having a job.
I always liked anime, even as a teenager, and I actually wanted to be a comic book artist, and I went to college and paid a lot of money for a fancy piece of paper that says I'm an artist. Hashtag regret.
Cool.
But I did theater in school as well, and I don't want to make anyone else here look bad, but I was Toto in The Wizard of Oz. So that's really hard to follow up. I liked theater, but I never imagined, hey, one day I'm going to go and do this as a job. My heart was with comics. So I made comics, and I went to conventions, and I sold them. And eventually I got asked to be a guest at a convention, and that's when I met the other guests who were voice actors. And we were talking about theater one day, and I was like, man, I miss doing theater. And they're like, well, you should try it for Funimation. It's right here in Dallas. So I did this really cool thing. It's called Google. You guys should try it. I Googled how to be a voice actor for Funimation, and there's a whole forum dedicated to it, and I just followed what I read online, and it had some really good advice, yeah. And so I did open auditions, and I got asked back. So I kind of fell into this career, but I love it, and I definitely wouldn't trade it for anything.
What, you guys are all...
Found it.
Like an orange, like a very cylindrical orange. You're all very experienced in voice acting. What sort of challenges, like what is the most challenging role that you have done so far?
When people don't expect me to have range. I have a very soft voice, so it's pretty interesting when I'm like, oh, I have range, like, oh, do you? Show me. And I can go high and low, but they're like, oh, but you're not breathy. Why are you breathy naturally? Can you get rid of the breath? No. No, I can't.
Stop breathing.
Okay. But that and playing really mean, aggressive women. I'm not mean. I try not to be. But I get cast as really nice, sweet girls, and I think that matches me.
I think the most challenging role I've had to play so far was Kafali in World End, just because it's such a very emotional show, and there's a lot of crying that I had to do, and just thankfully, like, I'm very sensitive, so I can make myself cry really quickly, but it's very hard to do that with like matching flaps.
It's hard to see the flaps when you're crying, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
I have a question, though. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Sorry. Sorry. Too soon.
Most challenging role. I'm gonna say Kohaku in Another World with My Smartphone. Which, if you haven't seen that show, it's about a dude that dies, and then God pulls him up to his apartment and is like, hey dude, so sorry I killed you. I'm gonna reincarnate you in another world. And when he gets reincarnated, he meets me. I'm a little tiger, but I start off as a big tiger. And the reason why that role was so difficult for me is because it required two voices, and they were on complete opposite ends of my vocal spectrum. So the big one was, you know, I am Kohaku, and it was like this really scratchy, big tiger. And then I had to go all the way up to the little tiger, who was, you know, all the way up here. So I was constantly switching back and forth between two voices in the booth, and always came out of those sessions with a sore throat.
The hardest for me was actually reading Toyama, which is also one of my favorites, because I think that's how it usually works. Because I typically play really spunky, happy-go-lucky, clumsy characters. And Reen is not that. Reen is very soft-spoken, she's very gentle, she's very caring. Not to say I'm not very caring, I'm just loud when I'm caring, and Reen is not loud at all. And I spent and I auditioned for Reen, and what I read is not what I did when I went in the booth, and so I was very like confused. I was like, how did I get this? But they were looking for the tone, and so Reen was very hard, and I spent about the first 5 episodes like really thinking that I was going to get recast. So, but that didn't happen. Yay!
That's always good. As if you repeat it for the last panel, you know that sometimes they cast a bit. So, Kristen, you mentioned that you got into artwork. For the rest of you, do you guys do anything else outside of booths, like outside of acting?
I used to love to draw and paint when I was a teenager. I stopped doing that once I pursued acting. It's been really hurting my soul, so I've been getting back into painting and acrylics and oils. It's really, really therapeutic. I also really love to work out and go on nature walks. I like to go hiking a lot.
Yes, I'm also a hiker. I mainly do yoga regularly, and I feel that's the only thing that helps me with my stress. Also, like drawing, reading, writing. I also really love horror movies, especially like Korean horror films. Those are my favorite. So good. But yeah, I like spooky stuff.
I can't say spoopy stuff, I'm a baby. Don't show me spoopy things, I'll be very upset. Like I said, I used to sew a lot. I don't get to sew as much now, which is sad, but I want to do more. As far as things that I just do, I mean, I play video games, I guess.
Works.
I'm such a workaholic, though. I spend most of my time working. It's not fun. But, you know, aside from acting, I do like to direct, and I also like to write. And those are things that, you know, I'm constantly working on alongside voice acting. So I would say that my time is pretty evenly split.
What else do you do outside of drawing and acting?
I parent. I have two little clones. It's taken a while, but they're finally getting to like a good clone to age. Seemed like a good idea at the time. I just didn't realize the clones would take so long to be useful. So I didn't think that out. But
They're not instantly useful.
They're not instantly useful. People don't believe the hype. Actually, so yeah, I do have two little girls, and they're wonderful. And so when I'm not doing any of the aforementioned jobs, which is a lot, I actually like to spend time with them. So we play Mario Kart, and sometimes they'll sit in my office while I'm writing, and they'll draw. So
Nice.
it's cute. It's adorable.
Now, all of you were in this show called Keijo, right? First question, how many exclamation marks are in Keijo?
8.
Wow. I was like, what's like stereotypes too, because there are 4 of you. So, why don't you tell like your favorite moments? Share some of your favorite moments on that show. And for those who don't know what it's about.
It's women's sports.
Women's sports.
It's women's sports, and you have to use your assets to get the person off the land. No hands or feet allowed. My favorite part of Keijo, I play Usagi. She was my first pink-haired twin hair. If you don't mean that means it's twin tail. It's like pigtails. My favorite part was I got to act alongside all my friends, but mostly Michelle Rojas. I always make jokes with the director Clifford. I'm like, I just need to be paired with Michelle's voice. So my character is literally obsessed, and I mean obsessed with Michelle's character, and for good reason. She is amazing. But I think the funniest moment was when I walked in the booth. I didn't know who I was voicing because I came back from Japan, and Clifford's like, "Oh, you're this character," and I went, "Yes!" And he was like, "Why are you so excited?" I'm like, "Because I get to voice along with Michelle." Okay.
The dialogue in that show is very, very funny and punny. My favorite part about it was all the attacks. They have this ridiculous attack names because all these ladies are fighting with their chests and their butts. And one of my favorite attacks, which is my character's like signature move, is called the vacuum butt cannon. And it's pretty fabulous. Just saying these names with a straight face. We're just always like coming in each day and like wondering like, oh, what is gonna be next? Like, what? How far can they take this with these attack names? It's pretty great.
So my favorite part was the walla. For those of you who don't know what walla is, it's basically the background chatter in an anime. And generally what they'll do is they'll call in actors to do it in a group. They'll get everyone together and they'll say, all right, you 4 are people running away from a dragon or whatever. But in Keijo, all the background chatter was coming from the main characters. So I played a character named Atsuko Yoshida. She's really buff, and that's her only defining characteristic. And she was always in the background, chatting with the other girls, even when she wasn't participating in the scene. So I had to make stuff up for her to say. And I was constantly talking about, like, lifting weights and picking people up and throwing things. This is the strongest vegetable in the world. It was just a lot of fun to get to improv, but as a character, not as, like, generic whoever. And every time I did a line that Clifford thought was funny, he would make everyone else in the room clap for me to embarrass me. So I would walk out of the booth and he'd be like, everyone clap, everyone clap. And I'm just like, all right, thanks. It was a lot of fun though. It was definitely an interesting series. But
I got to play the rival character, which is a lot of fun because I often play like the girl next door, like the best friend. that's in love with the best friend. I played that a lot, and so it was really neat to get to play like a character that was really strong right out of the gate. And she's strong, but she's nice about it. So she's like, oh, you just need to work harder, and then maybe one day you'll be as good as me. And I was like, this is gonna be so much fun. And then for the rest of the series, like she didn't fight again until like episode 12. For the rest of the series, she's like, guys, I just really want to get a boyfriend. And that's what drove her. And I think she's the only girl in Keijo that talked about getting a boyfriend. And that was her like whole reason for playing Keijo.
Game wasn't in the game.
There's a what?
She wasn't focused on winning.
That's right. She was in it for the wrong reasons. Girls, if you get into sports, don't do it for a boy. But yeah, that was the best part. That, and right before Keijo started, Cliff was like, "Are you available next season?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, and that's all he said. And I didn't know until I came in to do it next what I got myself into.
So if you could make up an attack like the most outlandish attack, the name, just the name. Doesn't have to be a description, just the name. What would it be?
Sweet cheeks.
You asked. No, yeah. I don't think I could say it.
I've got one. Bombastical tatas.
Good closeness, dude.
Tushy tornado.
It's cute.
None of mine can be said in polite company. I don't know how to...
And that's fine. We'll leave that there.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
So, Natalie and Amber, you both worked on Yuri.
Yes. I love that show.
What was it like working with Microsoft?
Amazing! Amazing. Highly recommend.
I'm explaining every episode.
Yeah! I learned so much from Haruhiko. That was a beautiful thing.
There are a lot of superpowers, special abilities in that show. If you guys had had some sort of special abilities, what would it be?
Well, my character's special ability in the anime is she's a phantom eater, which means her mouth opens like Kirby, and like huge, it's huge, and then she just can suck everything into the void, which is her black pit stomach. I actually have that power because then she can, like, there's an episode where they get tickets to all-you-can-eat barbecue, and her plates are like mountains of plates, and I'm like, I was recording, I went to the director, I'm like, this is my dream. I want this life. And he went, oh honey, you need bigger dreams. And I'm like, but I want to eat all the food. Because I lost so much weight that my stomach is shrunk so deep down, I'm like, I just want to eat all the food like she does. So I live vicariously through a cartoon.
So there's a character in the show named Kurumi, and she's got this teddy bear that she can like just, it's like almost sentient, and it just can grow like giant and like attack things. I would kill to have like a sentient teddy bear. They just be like, okay, now like just carry me here, like go beat up that person or lift this building, you know?
He's also a hacker.
He's also a hacker. Like he's really good at fixing computers, and he's a hacker. He's very good. He's very good.
Rolling into formation on a gigantic teddy bear.
Exactly.
It would help the environment a lot.
Are you handing this to me? Am I coming up with a superpower? Oh, I want to be able to turn into animals. Yeah, like animorphs, but like maybe slightly less disgusting looking.
Beast girl.
Exactly. And then I could be the bear. It would be a really good power. Think about it. If you don't want to talk to somebody, you see somebody at a party and you're like, I don't want to talk to that person, you turn into a little cat, you leave.
I was going to say shark, but...
Out of water. Or you have to do something really physically exerting. You just turn into like an elephant, pick it up with your trunk, you're done. You don't have to deal with it. It's a very practical power.
I haven't watched Myriad yet, though I want to because it looks really pretty, and that's how I get attracted to anime. I'm like, this looks pretty.
It is. A lot of colors too.
Yeah, a myriad of them. I would like the ability to teleport because I absolutely despise driving. I hate it. It's such a waste of time, but teleportation, like that.
And you can like postpone getting ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I could just sleep in for another half an hour.
Because I don't have to drive 45 minutes to get where I need to go. Because everything in Dallas is 45 minutes away.
Yes. Okay, I've got some kind of out there questions for you, if that's okay. Are you more of a hunter or a gatherer?
I lived on a farm, so I had to unfortunately do some hunting. But I am a gatherer. I'm very good. These hands might be small, but I can hold so many berries. We went blackberry picking as children, and I'm like, look, Mom, I have so many berries. And my brother was like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
That's why they call you Natalie Berryhead.
Yeah, I'm just staying with berries.
So I think I'm a hunter, and the reason for this is I have very specific ears that are like pointed and like flat to my head, like elf ears. So it means I'm a predator. And look out! What? That's my justification. Like no, like all predators like have the ear shape.
Yeah.
Mine are very predatorial. So I'm a hunter.
I thought you were gonna say you were a carnivore girl, and that's why. I'm more of a hunter. Anybody watch Hunter x Hunter? Yes, absolutely. I love that show. Yeah, thanks. It's good. It's good. Thanks for catching up to my joke.
We're doing a Q&A right now.
She's like, oh my god, it's like anime. I get it. This happens to her all the time. We were like, hey, did you know that Ekans is snake backwards?
I lost my mind.
And she just was destroyed for a full half hour. And we came into the room like a half hour later, and she's like, I can't believe it's just snake. It's just snake. It was a good time.
Race car.
Giraffe rig.
I think... You guys were here for this.
Save us.
I would also be a hunter, but only because I used to play competitive paintball.
You would hunt animals or people?
No, I would hunt people, which is more challenging. It is the only sport, though, where you can shoot your ex-husband in the head and not go to jail. So,
In Texas, under certain circumstances.
paintball.
What's your favorite 90s jam?
Anything by the Backstreet Boys.
All right.
No, okay. I want it that way. I still know it by heart.
It's gotta be All-Star, Smash Mouth. Absolutely. Okay, anybody who's ever watched Digimon the movie, the dub, it's full of great 90s jams, and it's all Smash Mouth and ska. So that soundtrack is kind of my jam, but specifically All-Star.
So I'm like bad with dates. Does like Alanis Morissette count for like 90s? Okay.
You're good.
Anything that was on the radio by her was my jam.
I was way into Drool as a child.
Yes.
I still am. Hands was my favorite. It still is. I carry him too much. I love Liam.
That is one of her best.
Okay, you're a new addition to the crayon box, right? Brand new color. What color would you be and why?
I'd be blushing pink because I'm always embarrassed. Is it? Oh, is it? But what about like the ombre pink?
I'll Google it. Continue.
Ombre blushing pink. What about that? Because I always get flustered a lot, and my mom always, or honey bunny. My mom would call me a honey bunny as a kid. Yeah, either or. Maybe blushing honey bunny. I don't know.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's not a color yet. If you steal it, I'll sue.
Game Genie Green, because my uncle my nickname is Game Genie, because when I was growing up, like my uncle, my nickname is Game Genie because he's like 8 years older than me, and like I'd go over there to like my grandmother babysit me when my mom worked, and we'd play video games, and then he'd let me borrow or keep certain games, and then I would go home and like beat it, and then I'd be like, oh, like I finished. He's like, well, how did you get past like blank part? I'm like, oh, you just like in Dark Cloud, you have to like turn this cat into a little girl, and then you become a little girl, and then you hop over this river. And he's like, I don't even understand what you just said, so that's my crayon.
I'm not good at these kind of like conceptual, like come up with something creative kind of questions. I'm up here to tell my life story. What is this? Let's go with something cynical cyan. Beautiful. Do I have to explain it?
Yes. Why?
Because I'm cynical and cyan rhymes.
I would be in your face pink. I'm pretty sure that would be an awesome color, and it would be like really bright pink that would like you'd still see it after you looked away. It'd still be like in your idle cleansing. That would be me because I adore pink and I'm very loud.
Be like the ultimate Pinkie Pie
And
color.
bright. Thanks, Natalie.
Okay, here's a challenge for you, right? Especially because, actually, all of you are right. Yes. Right? All right. Describe the color yellow.
Yeah, like when the director says, "Give it to me more yellow." What does he mean? He means brighter and happier and more vibrant. Right?
I want to hear you smile, and I want to feel you radiating sunshine.
Yeah.
Yellow.
No, the color. Specific color. How would you describe it?
Color?
Yeah.
Daisy's blooming.
Good one. A very small bee landing on the daffodil.
We're getting deep here.
It can't,
Not a large bee.
it can't be a big bee.
No, it's gonna be dangerous. A large bee would be scary.
A duckling wrapped in a blanket.
Well, the blanket was black.
Well, listen. Let's assume the blanket's yellow.
Okay, there you go.
If sunshine had a color, it would be. That's what it would be.
Or you can say mustard. And be gross.
Pikachu.
Yeah, those are really good descriptors, though. Okay, when you were younger, prior to dreams of being a voice actor, what did you want to be?
Oh, actually,
A comic book artist.
so
It's been the same.
I wanted to be a brain scientist. I wanted to, I didn't understand how brains worked, but I thought it would be super cool if I could transplant the brain of small animals into big animals so that you could domesticate them. So I was like, oh, you take the brain of a kitten, you put it in a lion, you have a pet lion. You take the brain of a parakeet, you put it in a condor, you have a pet condor. And apparently this came to a head when I was, when I was like 7 or 8, I was in the car with my parents. Apparently I was very quiet, just sitting in the back seat, and then suddenly I said, hey Dad, if I were to open a museum, would I have to buy or rent the building? And he was like, what? And I was like, well, I want to open a brain museum where I would show off every different type of brain that exists in a jar. Would I have to buy or rent my building? What would be the best for, money? And he was like, you're 8. What are you talking about?
That's when your parents started locking the door at night.
Absolutely.
So after my dreams of being more a prop or crushed, because that's not an actual job, I wanted to be a paleontologist, because that's the next closest thing. And then I realized, actually, I hate digging, and I don't like the desert, so I'm not going to go dig up dinosaur bones. And then I started getting all my credits together to go be a psychiatrist and go to med school. And then I decided, I'm going to be an actor instead.
When I was really, really little, I wanted to be a veterinarian because I love animals so much. But then my mom broke my heart when she told me, but honey, you have to put animals down. And I thought that was awful. So then I moved on to another dream. I wanted to be an animator for Pixar, specifically because I saw a documentary where they had a backstage cereal bar. And it is still a thing there, and I still want to tour Pixar. That's a dream. I love Pixar, but I secretly had an inside dream that I would be best friends with John Lasseter. At the age of 7, I'm like, I'm gonna be best friends with John Lasseter, then I'm gonna meet Hayao Miyazaki, then I'm gonna work at Studio Ghibli.
Wow.
That was my dreams as a child.
You dream big.
I did.
Which animal?
Every time I call people in high school, their parents would call me, your friend Mouse is on the phone, because I sound like a mouse to them. But I always think I am a rabbit, because I like to be fluffy.
I would be a bear. I am very clumsy, and I sometimes just feels like I'm bear-sized, even though I'm not. I have a temper, but I'm very good at controlling it. So, I don't know. Yeah. I haven't really thought about it.
Scratch your back with feet?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty nice. I also love nature and like living out in the woods as a bear. No one's gonna mess with you.
Get those picnic baskets.
Except campers, but I can just eat them. It's great. Yeah.
Tiger. I would be a tiger. Thanks. I'm glad you agree with me. Lone predator type of thing. Likes to be alone most of the time, but like when they have babies that they're protecting, very ferocious. Attack people. I have 3 cats. I have 3 tabby striped cats. So sometimes I'm like, I am mother tiger right now.
You're a tiger, mom.
That was good.
Go.
Does it have to be an animal that exists?
Kristen. Simple question.
You did not specify whether it was a real animal or a mythological animal.
Okay, Kristen. Which animal?
I would be a unicorn. Because they're magical and they have cool hair. And like an alicorn would be better because then I could also fly. But I have magic.
That's a good answer. Good answer.
I want to change to a dragon then. What is this? You're just changing up the rules on
What's the
me.
point of having a moderator? This goes out of control. Okay.
Yeah, man, I'd be a Pegasus.
On your way to work,
Nice, very
what
nice.
do you think about in the car?
That has implications.
I think about how much the person in front of me needs to speed up, or otherwise I'm going to pass them in my tiny little Fiat, and I get so much road rage. Also, I look at the clock every 5 seconds because I'm like, I'm going to be late. But I deliberately set my clock 10 minutes late so I can always think that. Don't do it.
If I'm like on my way to a session, I usually spend that time warming up, like singing or doing tongue twisters. If I'm already warmed up, I usually just like kind of zone out and contemplate the meaning of life and have an existential breakdown.
42.
I normally warm up or I just break down.
Think about life.
One or the other. I also sing in the car, and sometimes I get so into singing in the car that I will arrive at my destination and be like, wait, when did I get here? And then I think back and I worry that like I did something wrong on the road. I'm like maybe I killed someone. I don't know, because I have not been paying attention for like 25 minutes.
That's what television is.
Yes, exactly. Also, if you have a car phone, it's the perfect time to call your mom. Let me tell you. Oh. My mom, if I'm in the car, I will always call my mom because she knows that if I'm at home, I'm asleep or asleep. So if I'm in the car, it's the perfect time, like I have to be awake, let's call mom. And so I'll call her and be like, I'm driving, mom, and she's like, me too. And then we'll just chat. It's great.
I actually usually think about what I want to do next for a story, which is great because I have like 20 great ideas that I will eventually create.
One day.
One day. As soon as I'm done with all these commissions. But yeah, that's usually what I do is I think about stories that I'd like to do, and sometimes it's just like random thoughts about things. Like once I was driving and there was this mattress in the back of a truck, and I was like, what if mattresses could fly? And then I started thinking about how it would be a really cool story if this girl bought this old mattress at a yard sale and it was a magical flying mattress and copyrighted, don't steal it.
That's how copyrights work.
I have witnesses.
You got documentation right here.
What would you have for your last name?
It's dark. You would.
What would try work?
Mine would be strawberry shortcake and mochi, but then for a savory dish, it would have to be curry.
I love that you mentioned dessert.
Yes, always dessert first.
The dessert would be.
Yes. Well, I'm the type of person who eats dessert first always. My mom's like, isn't that a problem?
You have a sweet dinner and a savory dessert.
Yes, but curry, I could live off curry for the rest of my life.
So for my last meal, there's this Korean bar restaurant area right next to the face shop at H Mart. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Dodongo. It's got the chicken on. Dodongo. Sure. Anyways, they have this it's like an appetizer, but it's like this basket of fries. There's 3 different kinds of fries. There's waffle fries, wedge fries, and then regular fries. Then they have Cheetos on it. Then they have nacho cheese on it, and then a fried egg on top. And I'm like, this would be my last meal because it will probably kill me when I'm done. It's so good.
So it's like the American answer to your cuisine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really good.
See, I like to think I would be fancy. I like to think I would be like chicken marsala with truffles on top or something. But let's be real, if anyone knows anything about me, it's that I eat the same meal every single day of my life. I go to the same cafe and I get the same sandwich. So much so that I'll walk in and the guy behind the counter will go, hey, I see you, just sit down. And sometimes I don't even have to pay. I just sit down and they bring me this sandwich and I eat the same thing every day. It's a really boring sandwich. It's just chicken and cheese and lettuce. But they go, yeah, we know, sit down. They'll cut the crust off for me. It's very nice. So even though I'd like to think I'm super fancy, I'd probably just eat that again and be like, that was as good as the last 300 times.
I feel like there's a picture of you in that restaurant. Like a big gold ring. Yes. And every time the cook walks by and you my last meal would be steak. It would be cooked medium rare with stuffed filet mignon. Filet mignon, medium rare, with stuffed mushrooms from Olive Garden, and then for dessert, it would be molten chocolate lava cake, because that will kill me, because I'm diabetic. So might as well. And that would be the most delicious meal. No veggies needed, I'm dying anyway.
You don't need antioxidants, vitamins. So as actors, I'm sure you guys have had odd jobs here and there, right? What advice would you give any of your previous bosses?
Don't put anything on the top shelf for me because I am short. Regardless of how tall that ladder is, I'm not going up it because I don't like heights. So please put everything on short shelves. Please.
Don't text me at 3 a.m. expecting me to get up and work on this project immediately, and also don't hit on me. It's really weird when you have my phone number.
Dear former boss, I don't know what you expect me to make out of medical tape, but I can't do it. Is that a tie? Probably not gonna happen.
Dear former boss, the image in your head is not what it will look like on the flyer. Please stop trying to make it so. It's not as easy as you think, and no, I can't do it in 5 minutes. That's why I have a degree.
You can draw. Draw something.
Photoshop something.
Marketing.
What do you think is the most interesting about you that you wouldn't learn on stage if you were sitting here resume? What do you think would be like the most interesting about you that wouldn't be on
The most interesting thing about you that's
I'm an identical twin. And this voice is natural. No, I don't. Hopefully I enjoy this.
Oh, I've lived a life. I've lived a life, a very strange, hard life. That would not be on the resume, I guess. Yeah, it would be my memoir. I'm really good at screaming. I am really good at I'm really good at screaming. Just to, like, specifically for like video games and stuff, like when I was a kid, I would go out, I guess this counts as my weird story attached to that, so you're just like, oh, she's good at screaming, vague. I would go out into the backyard and just like stare up at the night sky and throw my Barbies up into the night sky and scream at the top of my lungs in the middle of the night, and I'm sure my neighbors loved that. But that's how I learned how to scream, so yay!
So they just hear screams from my little bodies.
Yeah!
I have the magical power to attract cats to me. I do. I have hand-reared 13 kittens. I bottle-fed most of them. And then whenever I make friends with somebody, they inevitably end up with a cat within the next year. You have cats now, you have a cat now. A pregnant cat showed up on Dawn's doorstep. It's kind of my superpower. I remember I was leaving GameStop for the night. I was locking up, and the guy that was working with me goes, "Is that a cat?" And I look next to me, and right next to the trash can by our front door is this little tiny kitten. And I pick it up. It doesn't complain or anything, and I'm like, "Well, I guess this is mine now." And I left, and I still have that cat.
You're like that gorilla from Tarzan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm his mother now. For best Romanesco and Puțin, I lived in Romania. I actually graduated high school there, so I can still speak a little bit of Romanian and order a cab fluently. Because if you don't order the cab in fluent Romanian, you get a gypsy cab and they will charge you way more. So you gotta sell it. They prefer to be called Roma. Don't call them gypsies. They're very scary. Anyway, that's something that would be cool, I guess.
Of the characters in your voice, what type of character would you like to try? Do you have it?
I really, really, really want to be a villain. I really want to try murdering people in an anime.
What kind of ones that sit on the throne and go, ha ha?
No, the ones that you think they're your friend and they stab you in the back. I really want to try and test that. But I also want to be a talking animal. My sister really wants me to be like the Sailor Moon cat. And she's like, you'll just be so cute. I'm like, dream. That'd be pretty cool.
So this is like very, very specific, but I would love to voice a like gender-bent version of Obi Nobunaga from Sengoku History. That's like my dream. That's my like secret bucket list dream. So it has a little bit of the villain in there, but I feel he's not an anti-hero.
Yeah.
So
Also known for screaming in the middle of the
yeah, exactly. Throwing Barbies. I'm already at practices.
See, I used to say mascot, but now I've gotten one, so now I can't say that anymore. I mostly play like villains and dark, low characters, so I want to be a main character girl. like a magical girl main character. I'm sorry. What?
Chiaki is a main character.
She is a main character, but she's not evil. That's true. But she's not like a lead in a magical girl show, which is what I was getting to.
No, you were like, man, never been a good girl. Man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't mean to
stop
offend
fighting.
you.
Ruining Christmas. Kids are here.
I did really enjoy playing Chiaki.
Actually, mine would also be a magical girl. I didn't start off with I really want to be a main girl. I said I would like to be a magical girl.
We're talking about voice type, Kristen.
With pink hair. That would be great. Or a unicorn. A magical girl that turns into a unicorn. That would be the best.
Did you read a manga about that?
No, I read a manga about unicorns that turn into hot dudes.
I'm out.
You got a franchise. Deep question. Really want you a penguin walks through that door wearing a sombrero. What does he say? And why is he here?
I can't hold these maracas. Can you help me? My flippers are too slippery. And I'd be like, okay. But then I take him home and feed him all the tuna fish I have. But then the zoo would be like, where did our penguin go? I'm like, I don't know.
Where did our sombrero wearing penguin go?
He's limited edition. Where did he go? He's mine now.
This penguin would say, "At last, I have found you, Amber. It is time to exact my revenge." and I will leave that up to your imagination on what this penguin means.
Have you ever heard of that penguin that lives in Japan that just walks to the fish market by himself? He walks to the fish market by himself with a little backpack on, and they give him the fish and he gives them the money. Probably something like that, but if he's got a sombrero on, he's clearly come from Mexico. So he's walked a very long way. So he would say, my feet hurt. ¿Qué pasó?
If the penguin is wearing a sombrero, he's obviously here for the cosplay contest. So, I would give him directions on where to go to register and then wish him the best of luck.
He's cosplaying as Speedy Gonzalez.
And help him with his maracas. Yes.
You added the maracas to this equation.
It's not part of the original, but it's artistic.
FYI, if there's a penguin in a sombrero, he's totally gonna win the cosplay contest.
It's my
That sombrero all by himself.
Yeah.
No thumbs.
It's wing stitch. Alright. Would you guys be interested in more questions, or would you like to do a lightning round? Okay, so we're going to do a lightning round. And this is how it works. They're going to ask you questions. Why do they have so many exclamation marks page over? And if you answer not with the just the first thing that comes to your head.
Oh no.
And as a result, either I got questions or not. Okay. So if you guys have any questions like that, raise your hands. You can ask multiple ones. Questions? Ready to go? Right. And we're going to start with Kristen.
I hate this.
Ready? Ready? Go.
Favorite me a doc film.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Go.
Spirited Away.
Go.
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away.
Go.
Would you like to do an anime where all the genders are reversed for the voice actors?
Yes. Absolutely.
Always.
When can I start?
Pink. Blue. Pink.
Maroon.
Go.
Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Psychonauts.
Final Fantasy 8.
Final Fantasy 9, Lunar Superstar Sword.
Oh, go.
Favorite season?
No, summer.
Winter.
Fall.
Spring.
Winter is still coming.
Here, right here.
What anime would you love to look at?
Live in?
House Moving Castle.
Digimon.
Spirited Away. Cardcaptor Sakura.
Oh, the cloud.
Questions? Go.
What cartoons do you like?
Animaniacs.
What?
What cartoons do you like?
Cartoons.
Pick one.
Go.
Digimon's an anime!
Cartoon.
Fine!
Rocco's Modern Life.
Voltron.
Favorite ice cream?
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
Same.
Matcha.
Strawberry chocolate.
Favorite fast food joint?
That's what?
Shake and Shake.
Whataburger.
Taco Bell.
I can't eat anymore, but In-N-Out Burger.
Molten chocolate lava cake.
As a dessert.
Chocolate mousse cake.
Pudding. Strawberry shortcake.
Second.
12. I got out of there.
None.
7. I learned what Sailor Moon was.
Right. Okay, if you could, last question. If you could choose a fashion for any anime, what would be for shoes?
Which series? Showbiz.
Clothing. Digimon. No.
Digimon.
Absolutely not. They wear the worst clothes on Digimon. Have you ever watched
4,
Digimon?
3, 2,
I don't know.
1. Move on.
Exholic.
Hey.
Paradise Kiss.
I got one. Death Note.